Can we try it again, you guys? I want to try it again because the internet said no. And she just kicked me all the way off. I literally got kicked off in every sense of the word of kicking off. So I hope that you guys are ready for this conversation today. I think it's going to be full of laughs. So my expectation is that we are going to be laughing a lot. We're going to be laughing a lot because everybody has a kid story. Everybody has a story of when you have interacted with some random child, or maybe the child was yours, and things just got weird, or the child just thought they was running the world that they really weren't running. So maybe they had to get checked a little bit. I don't know. But today we're talking about a lot of things that I think are going to make us laugh, but we're also talking about like raising godly kids. So today, I don't want you to just think about, oh, I'm not a parent. I want you to think about your nephews, your nieces. I want you to think about your friends' kids that you may babysit sometimes. I want you to think a bit bigger than just the kids you may or may not have today. So this conversation is definitely meant to be that type of vibe. So before I go any further, you guys already know the deal. I have to tell you why we're here. This podcast is meant to truly help you deliver on the vision for your life, build your confidence, and help you use your God-given gifts. That is what we are here for. And so don't be useless. It's simply that. Use what you got. Don't waste it. Use what you have. Recognize what you have and run with that thing. Okay? So before we get into this, let's kind of do a little bit of a catch up, shall we? I want to catch up on the fact that this is the second week of school for my kids. Okay. And I find myself teaching and parenting way more than I thought I need to. It's an interesting thing. Okay. So I have noticed that whenever I go places that kids are normally not there, kids are there now. So we went to AT&T, and because my phone is full and I can't seem to in a situation because now I'm doing media, okay, we need something different. Guys, we walk into AT&T, and as soon as we're heading for the register, we have this kid who was literally bouncing all over the one long bench seat that is in this AT&T place. He is all over the place. I mean, he is spreading wide. You know, he's jumping like Spider-Man. Now, mind you, PJ Masks on the TV may not be helping, but you could tell AT&T people was like, we need to put something on for this child. I don't know what's happening with this child today. Okay. So I'm like, well, I want two of my kids to sit down so they can watch this TV so we can kind of go figure out our plan for this phone situation. So I sit our children, like two of them, the youngest two, to the right on the floor. I don't want you touching the bench. It's still Corona streets up out here. I'm going to need y'all to be away from this child who's bouncing off the walls right now across the one bench seat in this place. Well, I walk over to kind of figure out the plan with my husband. We're looking at phone situations, seeing what we qualify for, can I upgrade or not? Okay, that's the situation. I look back, and bouncing all over the walls kid is now within a foot of my daughter with no mask on, loudly talking. So now we got a problem, okay? Because his mom know what type of kid he is. I want y'all to hear this. She knows. And low key, I think mama was like, and I need a break. All y'all can parent him. You know what? Because I'm done. All right. I've been quarantining and coroned all up with this child for the last 7 months. I know that he is all over the place. I don't care. I am going to stay over here with my AT&T person, and y'all just going to have to deal with little Johnny. So I go over and I'm like, hi. I was like, I need you to go back from the children. I need you to step back a little. Okay. And he's like, you're not my mom. I'm not your mom. So what do? I don't respond to, well, yes, I do. I say to the child, I say, no, instead, He looks at me like he's Wolverine in X-Men, like he about to come clowning for my face. So Mariah is mini me. I look at Mariah because I'm like, okay, it's clear this child's like, don't save me. I don't want to be saved. That's what he said in his little face. So I looked at Mariah and said, Mariah, do you see he is disrespecting? He's disrespecting your mother. Mariah turns to him and says, do you know you're disrespecting my mom? You want to know why? Because he was fascinated by Mariah. He didn't want nothing to do with my other son. He didn't care nothing about the other boy. It's Mariah. Somehow her and these little boys, the boys know she there, okay? She don't care nothing about but joy and play, but they know she there. So she's like, do you know you're disrespecting my mom? You know why I told my daughter? Because I needed my daughter to check him like only she can. And I knew she would. My daughter was going to tell him, sir, you're breaking the rules. Okay? I just need you to know you're breaking the rules. You may not care, but I need to tell you. And he says to her, so she's not my mom. And I said, I need you to step back and get your mask. And then it was time for the ugly stare. Before you judge, have you ever been here? Okay? Do you think I was doing too much? Okay? Low key, I could argue he is threatening my child's life with his unmasked, too close face, touching everything in its granddaddy all over the AT&T shop. And I said, you know what? We're about to do a parent edition on the podcast on Monday because guess what? I'm coming in hot with a fresh example. Look, we have to vent. As adults, we got to let it out when we hit the child aggression. So my question to you as we start this podcast, ready for the laughs, ready for the good time, you start typing it in. What is one of the worst child experiences you've had? And maybe it's not the worst. Maybe it's just hilarious. Maybe you just didn't see it coming. But can you tell me what it was for you? What was it for you? Okay? Because, right, comment here on Facebook says some of these kids be wilded. Oh, was he? Oh, he was wilding. And look, my thing is all this interaction, his mom didn't even come over there. His mom was like, you on your own. Eventually, she made her way over and she goes straight to say something to him. And I was like, he's okay. And then the AT&T person who was right here, he was like, he just needs to put on a mask. You can tell AT&T was done. Okay. Low key, I think the 3 AT&T people in there was like, thank God a black mama is here. Thank God a black mama. Why? Because the world needs black mamas. Clap it up if you hear me. The world needs black mamas because there comes a day and a time when can't nobody check you, even without words, like a black mama. Okay? Now, something I assessed with this kid because I'd already said, okay, if he's autistic, right? And I'm gonna get to you guys' comments. What if he's autistic? Maybe there's a situation. So I kind of like pulled back when he tried to challenge me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk off again and see after he got his mask on. His mom put his mask on, which she knew he wasn't gonna keep that thing on. He had already thrown it. So a little bit later, all of us had to wait a while. So I said, okay, let's sit on this bench. And here I am whipping out my Lysol wipes, wiping down the seat that little Johnny was all over. But now little Johnny went to a different part. I'm like, this is our moment. We need to take this seat. Okay. We wiped it all down. We a close family. We can sit close. Okay. We be right there. And here come little Johnny bouncing all in our faces, bouncing. Black Bubbles matter. Diane, I'm about to, you were too much. Bouncing all over. Okay. Here little Johnny bouncing. And then I tell my husband, I was like, I think autistic. My husband said he ain't autistic. Okay. Now, mind you, y'all know I'm the one, let's solve the problem. So my husband already knew. I done came back and reported to him 2 or 3 times like, hey, if I need you to hold me back, I'm going to come let you know. Because y'all, you are getting to know me 1,000%. Because one of the things that I cannot take in the world is rebellious children. Oh my gosh. It's one thing to be energetic. Energetic, I'm with you. I'm with you. Once you get rebellious, we got a problem. I'm not talking about you just didn't want to do it, so you just didn't do it. You know, kids be kids. But when you bucking grown-ups with your, he's in the kindergarten because he made sure we knew. Okay, I'm in kindergarten, little Johnny. I need you to get your mask on and you need to give me 6 feet. Okay, all 6, not one, not one. Meanwhile, my other son sitting next to my daughter, he's like my husband. He's not gonna say nothing. He just watching. He just there, you know, because they're gonna leave mama. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, they're gonna leave it to the black mama. Let me go to you guys' comments. Hey YouTube, hey Facebook. If you're on YouTube, make sure on YouTube that you have said something in the comments so I can acknowledge you and say what's up. Oh yeah, they're cracking up. Y'all, look, little Johnny, I gotta tell you how it ended too. Cheney said he don't want any. He don't want none. Okay? He done wore his mama down. I have empathy for the mama. You know how sometimes people be like, people just let their kids go everywhere. People don't da. I'm not judging mama, okay? Because mama said, I'm done. Mama didn't even come for me. Mama was like, son, just put your mask on. She didn't try to tell him to sit down. She didn't try to, that means mama tired. That's what it means, y'all. His mama was wore down. Maya says some of these kids be wild. And yes, David said, I love to know what Pastor Evan was thinking. Oh, you want to know what Pastor Evan was thinking? Let me tell you what my husband was thinking. My husband, I said, do you think he autistic? He was like, he ain't autistic. And I said, okay, let me think. So I'm thinking, meanwhile, he's 1.5 feet in front of us, bouncing in front of the whole family, And here's my thing. Why did the kid mumble on his breath? Butthole. Oh, yes. He called us buttholes. Oh my gosh. When he said it, I couldn't laugh because I knew that would just take him to, he would start performing even harder. Hilarious. Y'all, that's my thing. When he did that, I was like, oh my gosh. So I turned to Josiah, Mariah, all the ayahs in my family, and then Evan. And I turned to him and said, everybody look a different direction. Everybody literally looked up, down, left, or right. He then started saying, hey. And then what happened? He left us alone. You want to know why? There was no longer an audience. Tips of the trade. If the child is that desperate for attention and the attention he's given at this point was putting our kids in danger, like if it wasn't Corona, it'd be a little bit different. But the fact that I had to ask him to be safe is what started showing his rebellious behavior, because he was like, you can't tell me what to do. Diane G said, where was his parent? Yes, somewhere far away, who could see it all happening and wanted nothing to do with it. Hey, Jay, she said, I had to a parent at Chuck E. Cheese before COVID. Look. And see, here's the thing. I don't want to be caught in the streets like telling a parent how to parent. This is me, okay? But let your child run up over here with all beauty and grace. I'm going to try my best to tell that child, son, you need to, okay? And this is one of them moments, y'all. This may sound so bad. I don't care. Okay, it's my podcast. I don't care. Y'all, there are times when this brown skin comes in handy. Who know what I'm talking about? Because it is when the child happens to not be a child and they see this brown face close in, sometimes they be like, ooh, let me go, lady telling me to do. Ooh, maybe I need to reconsider this. Ooh, I don't know what's about to pop off up in here. There have been moments, okay? And the best times that have come in handy for me, you know, the news portraying us all wrong and bad, you know, when it's come in handy for me is on an airplane. Oh, let me tell you, children on airplanes. Come on, parents, let it out. You know our kids be wilding. You know they be tripping, and we this up, and now they're back to school, and they are challenging us even more. We are going in, and we're going to end the second half of this podcast talking about how I really seek to raise godly kids, and just the realistic expectations of that, because sometimes I think as parents, Christian parents, sometimes we may get a little bit too right. But I want to talk to you guys about some of the things that I like keep in mind as I'm parenting, and I really think it helps bring me peace. Hey, I caught the live. Yes, you did, Andrea. This is like my third attempt to go live. It's been kicking me off. Cheney says, when I was at the park and my nephews were playing on the swing and taking turns, this little boy behind my nephew said he was going next and about to skip my nephew. My nephew said, no, I'm next. And the little boy stopped talking and then pet my nephew on his head. Ooh. Like he was a dog. Ugh. I said, I'm not gonna touch him. Oh, I said, oh, I'm trying to figure out. I don't touch him like that. He ain't no dog. No, he is not. He is not a dog, and he should not have been like that. And oh my goodness. Oh, I have a comment from the earlier situation on YouTube. Hey, Nieves says, glad it was you and not another mom who would have caused a scene. Oh, causing a scene. I'm going to pause on that because I think that is worth a conversation. Causing a scene. Where my, let me give me, I got to write on a Sharpie. We got to talk about causing a scene because I'm going to want to know what your limit is. What is causing a scene to you when it comes to this situation, or any others? Dan B says he had to be off the chain because Pastor P is beyond patient. Am I patient? People tell me I am so patient with kids. Y'all, if the nature of the child's not rebellious, I don't care if they're bouncing off walls. If they can't sit still, if they're whatever, I love them. But when the child get rebellious, I'm about to challenge that. No, sir. You're not going to be walking around disrespect people and ain't nobody said nothing. Little Johnny might have been clowning, but I'm going to say something, even if he calls me buttholes. Now, my threat. Cheney, you said you're going to tell him you hit kids. Look, comment on Facebook said, I hit kids. So she said, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to pop their little hand, might give them a little swat to the rear end. No harm, but I will pop a kid. That is what has been stated here. And I know what society don't. Nobody wants to admit that they will pop a kid. Nobody wants to say it. Okay? I do not remove their arm from touching my child. I don't know. Okay? Little Johnny, I didn't want to catch a case because I'm sure his cameras all over AT&T. I don't got time for that. Okay, you got to be smart in the streets. David says he loves my husband. He is cool 100%. Diane G says, in my day, a look was enough. Come on, Mama Diane. She says, a look was enough. These new day kids, I'm glad my kids are grown. I still will give a look. I totally will. Give them a mom pitch. Is that what you said, Andrew? She said, just pinch them. Paint them a little. Just paint them a little. And maybe that will work. Okay. I want to, before we get into our constructive part of this conversation, I want you guys to tell me, what do you think is the limit? Because I know for my kids, it's a different type of thing, right? If somebody were to say something to my children, if somebody were to say, hey, sweetie, can you scoot back? I wouldn't mind that. Like I asked him, hey, babe, can you scoot back a little bit? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Once he says, I don't got to do what you say, I'm not going to tell your mama. I'm going to keep talking to the kid, because if he can say that to me, he's saying worse to his mama. That's what I think. So what do y'all think is the extent of causing a public scene? Because just like somebody said earlier that I didn't cause a scene, y'all, Okay, Black community, just for a moment, we're just going to step to the side. Okay, just for a moment. Some of us, you better tell the truth up in this podcast. Get embarrassed when we see a mom going hood ghetto in public places. Tell me you don't cringe. I cringe a little. It's a mixture of cringe and empathy, especially if it comes across like they don't have much, which I am familiar in being raised in, right? So there's a little bit of cringe and empathy because the way the world can see Black women can tend to be harsh, loud, angry already. When truly, I believe we're dynamic and passionate. Okay, don't get passion mixed with anger. Okay, because as soon as she's disciplining those kids, she'll have fully pleasant conversation with you. She's not an angry person. Okay, look, hood ghetto was it, and some of y'all we be cringing sometimes, like, oh sis, the public not ready. They're not ready for you, sis. They're not ready for you. They're not. They're not, girl. They're not ready. Not even though. Ooh, Andrea said Mexican moms too. Is that true, y'all? Do y'all Mexican moms, do y'all cringe for your own ethnicity group? Like Black moms may cringe with the like, oh girl. Hold up, girl. Do y'all cringe too? What? I didn't know. Educate me, Mexican moms. I got a couple Mexican moms on here. It's so funny. I don't even think you guys Mexican, which is crazy. Until you just said that. Okay. Andrea says, you know, the old school mama pinched behind the arm. Show did. Show did. Cheney says, I think what you did was perfect, ignoring him. Look, that was God. You see, in those times, that's what you need to not clown real bad and to not go to jail. You're like, oh, Holy Spirit, I need you right now. This is what the prayer said. Yes, my Mexican moms are like, yep, that be us. We be cringing on each other when we go hood ghetto too. Look. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I said, no, she didn't say hood ghetto. Look, it just be what it be. All right. So we talked about causing a scene. I told you guys about that crazy situation with the AT&T kid. I'm just going to call him the AT&T kid, little Johnny AT&T kid. I've also had situations on airplanes too. That's a whole nother thing. But I have been, I believe by God, placed next to moms who are riding with kids by themselves, and the child had situations. And here is me literally entertaining the child the whole flight. I so will do it in a heartbeat, y'all, because it's different to have a high energy or a child with a need versus a rebellious child. I believe those are two different things. Oh, barbershop. Yeah, so now that we got our laughs about some of the kids can do and the limits we can be pushed to, can we transition now into raising godly kids? And we're going to take a stroll down memory lane. First thing we're going to think about, or I guess think about, is how we were raised. So I want a quick poll. If you were raised in a Christian household or raised as a Christian, maybe you were the kid who went to church with your friends' family because they were Christians, but you grew up with Christian morals, like you were raised as a Christian. Drop an emoji for me, because I want to get an idea of how many of us are like, yeah, I was raised in it. And then I'm curious to see if I'm just going to assume you're still a Christian now. I'm just going to assume it for the sake of argument here. And then y'all, let's get into it. All right. So on YouTube, I'm seeing Catholic household. Yep. I think YouTube's a little bit faster. Yeah, let's talk about it. Were you raised as a Christian? You guys who have followed me for a while, you know I was raised as a Christian. I'm actually a preacher's kid. Though the home was abusive and a bit violent, would not have been ideal at all. I wouldn't ever want it for anybody else, but I was raised in a Christian household. Okay, and I'm seeing a yes, but more so religious. Ooh, we should so get into that. When I say Christian household, I also mean religious, 100%. Because I think on YouTube, this comment says Catholic household. I think she would probably say religious too, because Catholicism seems extremely religious because it's so like not ritualistic, but a lot of do's and don'ts. Even in addition to the text. Raised in a Catholic household. Another, raised Christian but stopped going to church. Got it. Excellent. Yep. Alicia too. She says, yep. Holiness household. Ooh, she done threw holiness in there. How about the rest of you? Were you raised in Christian household? Drop an emoji if you were. Now, here's the thing. I was raised with some pretty, I would say, rigid rules. Now, let me ask you guys, was your household strict? Because you can have Christian parents and you don't feel like you're being raised strict. Do you think it was strict for you? Because we're going to walk away with some real stuff. You're thinking of your nephews, your nieces, your own. That's who you're thinking about today as we get into this conversation we're about to have about raising godly kids, even though they may not be in your direct house. Okay. So for me, I do believe I was raised in a strict household. Why was it strict for me? I was not allowed to listen to secular music. I was not allowed to watch barely any movies. I was not allowed to go to parties, of course. What in the world? We were Church of God in Christ. We were holiness, okay? I wasn't allowed to wear lipstick or earrings, barely allowed to wear pants, could not wear pants to church. You talk about strict. I was a majorette, which sounds so crazy to say, considering what I just said. I had to sneak to be on the dance team. I was passionate about dancing. I still love dancing. I was here, So You Think You Can Dance, these dance shows. I love them so much because I love dance. And I had to sneak on the team, y'all. They didn't know what sport I was in. So I was just like, yep, I'm in track today. And here I am shaking it, dropping it on the floor. Look, I was handling it. Ooh, I got good too, y'all. And then Kim, she says, yep, super strict. No pants, no earrings, no makeup, no movie theaters, no devil's music. Look, couldn't watch Trolls. Okay, couldn't watch Smurfs. Harry Potter, oh my goodness, you want to sell in your house? You better not turn it on. That was it for me growing up. Oh, I could not. Diane G, Mama G, I'm going to call her, says Christian home, younger, something happened at church. Mother stopped. I ended up going on my own, too strict household. Oh, she says she bailed out of there. She bailed out. So is it just me? Yes, no pants, no makeup. So is it just a trend or no member who has gone the complete opposite direction in parenting because they felt like it was too strict for them growing up? So I would say for me, I feel like I have seen parents now who are like, it was so strict for me, or growing up, my parents were doing too much. So now their kids can wear short skirts, midriffs, piercings in extra places, tattoos young, maybe even a body alteration young, like literally just things that would be completely opposite to how you grew up. I'm not talking about right or wrong here. I'm just talking about completely opposite, completely different. And so what I would love to do is to jump into more of a balance today. A balance. And I want to do this with just throwing out some things that I do with my kids that I believe so far has shown to be really fruitful in helping them know who God is and them have personal connections with God that's bigger than religion, bigger than what they can't do, but more just in a different direction. So I just have a couple notes of things I'm going to share with you guys, but have you guys seen this trend? I have a comment on YouTube says it was going to stay strict until I heard you're strict, but we are allowed to listen to secular music and do secular activities. Oh, okay. So she said it was really strict, but she was allowed to do certain things. Okay. Y'all, they didn't barely want us going to football games because in the hood, you go to a football game. Oh, story time. I just got one story before we get into this practical stuff. Cheney says, not really into whoopings, seems counterproductive, but my mom is always like, spare the rod, because the Bible does say that spanking the kid Yeah, the Bible does say it, but we can talk about that too, even though we may have to go into a part 2 because we're at 30 minutes right now. Okay, y'all, when I snuck and got on that dance team, do you know the first song that we learned? This Preacher's Kid. Okay, everybody knows Preacher's Kid. My dad was crazy. He walked around the neighborhood with guns. It was a whole thing. So here I am. You want to know what routine I had to learn? I'll make love to you like you want me to. And I'll okay. And I had to perform it at a football game. Our first routine was Boys to Men. Okay, that's our first one. I'm barely on this team. I'm in the 9th grade, okay? And you know who decided to come to this game? My parents. But the band was playing the song, and I was like, oh my gosh, please don't know this. Please don't know this. So I'm trying not to roll my hips. I'm like, oh, like I was terrified. I was like, oh my gosh. Now, low key, my parents never, ever came to anything I did. No joke. This is the one and only time. And the band is busting out, I make love to you. Oh my gosh. What is happening? Yeah, but you know, and then by the time we got to the end, I was like, well, if this is my last day on the dance team, I'm gonna kill it. Okay, I'm gonna tear it up. Okay, if y'all never see me no more, if this is my last day alive, I need y'all to know I gave it all I got. And I barely made the team. Barely made the team. I was an alternate. Me and my best friend, we were the youngest. I think at the end of our 8th grade year, and they said, we'll work with them and see if we can get them strong because we were so committed. And sure enough, I ended up moving to Oklahoma, you know, the year my parents split. And my friend, she ended up becoming the captain. I'd be so proud of her, y'all. Them, you know, them high school dreams, you know, it turned into Bring It On, Cheney. Yes, it did. But talking about raising godly kids, like I think now, would I let my daughter do beauty pageants? I did them in college to help pay for college, which was awesome experience. It was a Black pageant circuit. Then I did a couple in the Miss America circuit, which was a lot of fun, but interesting. Okay, because I was brown, the only brown. It was interesting. Would I let my daughter do that now? Would I let my daughter get her ears pierced young? She doesn't have them pierced now. Would I? How far do you go? Okay. What does it mean to have godly kids? What does that mean for you, mamas, dads, uncles, godparents? Okay. So here's a couple of things that I have here that this is like my mindset as I raise these kids. Okay. The first mindset that I have is I need my children to know that God loves them. Do you hear me? It sounds so simple, but let me tell you why it's a big deal. Growing up for me, God was the strike you down with lightning because you stepped on a crack and broke your mama's back. Okay. I don't know what he was portrayed to for you, but it was literally like, I'm going to strike you down. It was judgment God. Judgment God, you're going to hell. Okay. You got on, you know, oh, this shirt. Oh no. Oh, hell, what is happening? Okay, because the shoulder is out. Go swimming, that's something different. But you know, sitting up in your house, woo, no, right? So there was a whole nother situation for me growing up. So something that I have learned as a young adult, young 20s, the biggest revelation I got was God actually loved me. So the fact that Jesus died out of love for me, it's one of the only things that separate the Christian faith from every other religion. Why? Because there's no savior dying for sins nowhere else. There's no one paving a way in any other faith or religion, like in Christianity, where Jesus was made to be a sacrifice for us to give us a road or a path directly to God. And so as a young 20s, I was like, wow, God actually loves me back. He actually cares for me like that. Can I tell you that there is such a freedom when a child knows God to be someone who loves him? God is someone who loves them. And so when they know God loves them, it helps them to be able to go to him. I think sometimes some of the things that keep us from like going to God is because if you only see him as judge, you want to run away. You don't want to talk to him. You don't want to be with him. So God loves them. Secondly, and I may break these down a little bit if I have time. Yeah, let me jump into these comments and then I'm gonna go to the second thing. Okay, this comment says, yes, we were taught a repressive God. Absolutely. Same here. Um, yep. And then on YouTube, it says, I was always quick to get out the door before going to the club. I was embarrassed for my mom to see me dressed like that. I know. Isn't it something we were so ashamed to do it, but yet did it anyway? We just definitely had a rebellious. Absolutely. Now, here's one of the things that I also have noted here. Oh, this is so good. You guys are pouring in. It's just a little bit of a delay. So Kim says, same here. The God I knew of was as a child, was heavy on condemnation, but light on compassion. And when you study the life of Jesus, when you get into the Bible for yourself, you see, I was given a God who was this harsh. But it's not the full picture of who he is. Is he a judge? You better believe he's a judge. Don't play with God. He absolutely is a judge. But he is also a loving father. And that needs to be something I think is not forgotten. All right, guys, I want the kids to recognize that and I'm going to give you some examples on this, but I want them to love God back. I want them to love God back. So this means in the middle of a difficult situation and all of the things happening, I need them to actually love God back. So that means I am here as a parent in the train up a child in the way they should go. It's not just all about just discipline. I believe it's also about helping them have a mindset of connection with God. So I'll give you some examples of the top two things. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll go into my how for both of these. So one of the ways that I really try to help these things be so important. Oh, nope. I'm hearing another thing. The third thing that is also very important in how I parent is I need them to recognize nothing is bigger than God. Hold on to this with all you got mamas, daddies, aunties, godparents. I need them to know nothing is bigger than God. Let me tell you why. I'll give you an example. Actually, I had a parent come up to me in the middle of all the George Floyd stuff. And it was after some gathering I had with my SOU ladies. And the parent is like, how are you handling this? Because, I have a white husband, but all our kids are brown. So we have to engage them. One in middle school now, which is crazy, but we have to like talk to them about what's happening in the world. And she was like, my husband wants to go super harsh with this, letting him know, see, this is how the world's treating everybody. And she's like, I want him to understand, but I think it's going to scare him. And so the only thing that I could really think, because everybody has to really be led, your kids are wired differently. They're not all wired the same. So you can't give every message the exact same. In my opinion. But what I told this mom is I said, you know what? In whatever message you decide to give him, whatever information you decide to give him, please help him to realize that this situation is not bigger than God. Because sometimes we will allow even sports, how well you do in sports, even your grades, even your matters more than how you look. Nothing matters more than you're Black, you Haitian, if we're not careful, we will start sending messages of identity and all these things. We will, if we're not really intentional, we will forget to make sure that God is bigger than every problem I face. That messaging goes away because we've started to take on things in our own strength. If we're not careful, other things that go away are, God is far away from me instead of God is with me. And he's bigger than anything my family deals with. So here's a couple things that I know has really, I believe, helped my kid in tough times. So hold on. All right. So one of them is there is a daily reference to God every day in our house. And there's a couple different ways that I like to do this so it feels organic and it doesn't feel like our kids are getting stuff forced down their throat. So one of them is our kids, as soon as they can read, then I believe that they should have some type of devotional. I think it's like there's so many different kinds out now. You can get them resale. You can get them at resale shops. You can get them for $2 or $3, but they are books that help them to start developing a prayer language and gives them topics and stuff to talk to God about. It's easy to know that God can do everything when you pray to him for things. So I believe for kids, they need to be talking to God and not just through mom and dad. So yes, a parent may go to their room at night and say, okay, it's time to pray. And every time that child prays, it's with you. Then a lot of times that could mean that they don't feel confident doing it on their own unless you're there, which you don't want to create a codependent child. So yes, you can start in that way and teach them. But I believe once they start to read, when they're 5 and 6 and all the things, then they should be able to pick that devotional up, read those prayers out loud, even if it starts off with you in there, but they're reading and they are talking to God on their own. And then you can ask, hey, do you have any questions about what you prayed tonight? And let them tell you. So I believe that that's an easy way for that child to have a daily reference of God, especially if they are at reading age, right? This is when they start remembering stuff. They're starting to retain more memories. So it's really, really important. Another thing is I like to use regular TV shows and movies to give lessons. Now, low key, this could be annoying for some personalities. Can I just say this? Because so I showed them a Transformer last week because my son's into the action figures. So I do quite a bit of fast forwarding because I don't want them picking up a bunch of sexual stuff or profanity and things like that. So I do my best in fast forwarding. I will watch stuff before I show it to them if it's rated PG-13, because PG-13, U7, they don't care about our kids. They're trying to sell their movies, their shows. So a lot of times I watch things first. But if something happens where someone's being betrayed or someone's like evil, angry, I'll pause it and say, why y'all think he's so mad? And I'll be like, because the other guy's so good. I just want to hear them talk. I want to hear how they think. I want to hear, are they starting to worship this evil because it looks so powerful? Or are they, where are they in their thinking? So sometimes I'll pause it and I'll be like, man, that's so true. If they see something good, because it also gives them a voice in the house. And I want them to feel like they can talk. And I want them to feel like they can be heard, but I also need to hear where they are. And that is really important. Yes, Janie, they don't care about our kids. They're trying to sell their stuff. So as us parents, we got to do it. Oh, here goes a comment. It says, that's me. I will find the Jesus angle in every movie. Watch me. Watch me. Jesus is for everybody, including this Transformer robot jumping all through this screen right here. We gonna find it. So even when Optimus up there and everything, I'm the one who'll say randomly, like, man, Optimus is powerful, but God's bigger. Look, they may not take every sentence, but even dropping those nuggets in there, God can use it. He can use it. Think about the random stuff you remember from your childhood that is God referenced, that has actually helped you. You may have been acting like you weren't listening. You heard it. God is in it. Okay. Another thing that I really like to do is, and this is something I grew up with, I think it's the most traditional thing that I have kept. I can't even believe I do this. Y'all, Sunday mornings, we already are a Christian music listening household. So the closest they get to secular music is like in an animated movie. So which we weren't allowed to watch growing up, but I will let them because they have an excellent, I believe, bearing of being God loving. So I don't feel like it's taking away from who their spirit should be and who they are inside, which you have to watch. Okay, y'all, on Sunday mornings, you can't watch nothing but Christian TV. Did anybody else have this rule? Y'all, this was the rule. Sunday mornings is only Christian cartoon. If we was watching Davy and Goliath, y'all remember TV? We was watching TV and cartoons. We could not watch nothing but Christian TV or no TV on at all. And BB and CC Winans was blasting in the background. Sunday mornings, we are playing the Christian music out loud. Sunday mornings, they already will come in there and they will turn on Superbook. They will turn on the Prince of Egypt movie. They will watch Allegories. So they got so many options now, but they already know Sunday morning is sacred. We stay God focused all the way through church, and after church is sports. Okay, that's how our family rolls. But what I want them to do is to keep a part of their week that is only dedicated to God. And what happens is this may look different for them when they're an adult, but when push comes to shove, they're going to have a part of their life that they're going to have as a memory of. I remember there was just peace in this time. I remember feeling like whatever in this time, right? Sundays feel different. They don't feel the same. I have kept this tradition, y'all, at that old school. That is what we do. Oh, you need some Christian cartoons? Oh gosh, there are any. We got to get this out to parents. I know our church is working on doing that. We should work faster though, which is on me. So we have to get that done. All right, balanced reality lessons, which I just kind of told you about. I try to bring balance to the reality that they're seeing in the world. Today, I showed them a news off of YouTube. Yeah. Hey, let me show you guys the news real quick. And it showed the California fires. And here's the first headlines. Can I share this? Y'all, California headline, California fires. Then it was Corona breakouts at colleges. Then it was Corona expanding because of kids' soccer. Yeah, sports. Then it was Donald Trump's sister said he was unorganized or something. And then it was a dad is helping his kid. I paused the TV and said, y'all, all of those headlines were so negative and heavy. Did you notice that? My middle schooler laughed and said, it was. Gosh. He's like, I think that just stressed me out. And so I was like, do you see these? I said, you know what I just gave you? I just gave you 7 more things. I think it was like 6 or 7 that you can pray for beside yourself. Things you pray for beside yourself. So am I going to watch the news in front of them every day? No, they cannot handle it. They're taking it in. They will think the world is burning, falling apart. But at the same time, I need them to understand there are things happening around them that is not just peaches, rainbows, and Jesus. Okay. I need you to get it. Okay. Oh, Cheney 2 or 3. Absolutely allegories. I don't know. I've been here all day long. Got Parent Squad up in here. Y'all drop the stuff that you show your Veggie Tales. Y'all may sleep because they don't make brand new ones really anymore. Y'all, those Veggie Tales, Cheney, they will love that. 2 and 3 year olds, the old school Veggie Tales, not Veggie Tales in the house. That was moved way too fast. But it doesn't have Bible God lessons like that. But yeah, you can search VeggieTales and stuff on YouTube, try to get some full episodes. But that was one of the beginning, because when you start them off slow, you can always build on that. Slow, I mean like not as advanced. Because 2 and 3 year old, they don't know that they're not watching HD 4K. Just your old school VeggieTales. Oh, yes. We love us some VeggieTales. Broccoli, come on. Celery, you know it. Gotta be. Who said VeggieTales? Come on. Cauliflower, sweet and sour, half an hour. They ain't ready. VeggieTales. Dun, 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 dun. There never, ever a show like VeggieTales. Let's go. They always have DVDs for cheap Mardells. I love Mardells. Do you know Mardells? If I ever started to monetize my Instagram, I would want to do like all Christian stuff, Christian, Black owned businesses. Mardells ain't Black owned, but it is Christian, and that's the vibe. I would love it so much. So much. Okay. Now, here's something that never happened for me, and I got to hear from you guys if this was ever your experience, but I never got apologies. My parents did not apologize. It just was not happening. Why? The parents were the authority. So it was the parents would justify, because I said so, this, that, and another. That's just how it was. And I apologize to my children. You want to know why? because I need them to see that mama messes up. Oh my goodness, I think I apologized to one yesterday. Yes, my daughter. Love her. Sometimes she can tap on a nerve, okay? She be tap, tap, tap in. I don't know what song that is, but I people be dancing to it lately. So it's in my head. I was like, oh, girl, if you don't get in that shower, if you don't, but mom, are you? Oh my goodness. And I was like, if you don't walk in there, like I just like, girl, get on. But it was just rough. Like I felt like it was just too much, you know? So I later went in there and said, Mariah, I'm sorry. I think I was being just, too rushy with you. You have to say where she gets. And she was like, it's okay, mom. You know, something that I also think that it teaches them is that they should be apologized to, especially my girl. Yes, especially my girl. Like, I need you to know people can't just treat you all kinds of ways. So I need to make sure I'm more patient with you so you understand that's how you should be treated. And I don't want you to think that it's share. And that is just with my boys and their sister, the siblings thing. I am sure to tell my sons, there are two things I tell them. I said, what's your number one, brother? It's to protect. It is to protect your sister. That is your number one job, is to protect her. Second, your number two job is to love her. I want her to feel safe, right? I want her to be, and these are the words that I have for my kids, and I pray this over them. I say this to them. My husband has something different he says to them. I think he says, like, there's a king in you, is what he says to the boys. But I want them to be kind. I tell them I want them to be strong, God-loving, and wise. Those are the four words. Kind, strong, God-loving, and wise. That is the prayer. If you had to pick some words for your kids, I think that would be one of the greatest ways that you could begin to focus or to tailor your parenting against those four things, right? So if what they're watching that doesn't help them to become more strong or kind or wise or God-loving, just kind of gauge how much you're letting them take in of those other things. Because strong, God-loving, and wise are the four things. So when it comes to their sister, I'm like, hey, your job is to protect and to love her. The reason why I say love her is because one of them, they always arguing, okay? And he be picking fights. So I need him to chill, okay? So I need you to love your sister, okay? And then protect her, meaning don't just let the girl walk into a wall. Okay, you see the girl ain't paying attention. Just the basic stuff now. But later they will recognize that they're supposed to be protecting each other. So, and as the oldest, I'll tell him your job is to protect and love them. Okay, but I also tell them your job is not to parent them. We're the parents. You're not the parent. Okay, so there are certain things but the kind of to wrap this time up, one of the key things, you guys, I definitely believe is repeating some of the same things over and over. So me saying, hey, you are kind, you're strong, you is important. No, you are God-loving and you are wise. Yes, that is the prayer. Before they were born, as God helped them to love each other, to love you most and love each other second. Like more than anything, right? Before they were born, we don't want kids coming out like Cain and Abel. All right. Jacob and Esau. We didn't want it. Didn't want it. All right. Let me get some of these comments. You guys said, and they will never apologize. Yeah. Oh, the parents. Oh my gosh. To this day, my dad is like, yeah, you done turn out to be this person because my parenting, because my okay, you don't know the trauma serve, the therapy. Okay. Diane says, Michael and I talk about this all the time. Absolutely. What are the words? I believe even as parents, even if your husband may not be of Christian faith, you guys can still, I believe, come to an agreement about the 3 words, the 4 words, or the goal, and you raising those kids. It will truly help you guys to be focused on what you expose them to, the balance of that, right? Because it doesn't have to be, no matter how much you feel like you jack up everything else, you can still help them to have a grounding foundation in something. And we want that to be a God-based thing, right? So Andrew says, yes, I do. We need grace too. Yeah, we need grace too. We're apologizing to our kids. On YouTube, she says, I was always quick to get out the door. Oh, she says, I apologize. Yeah, to her son on Saturday. Absolutely. We got to do it sometimes. It's like, Dad, I think I was out of line, I think I was out of line. I'm sorry. All right, this comment says they are so sweet when they do too. Her son told her the other day, Mom, it's okay. We all make mistakes. That is so sweet. Absolutely. It helps them to see, because growing up, a lot of times we feel like parents can make no mistakes. We are like adults are infallible and life. And then we came to realize that they were messing all kind of stuff up. And low key, I grew up, I'm like, did you know you was messing this up? Did you just know and you didn't know how to change it? What was happening, mister? Ma'am, did you know? Because I know, look, my kids may grow up with a little bit of a tick. They may grow up with a tick. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in their life. I don't know if they're going to keep Jesus as close as I have come back to knowing him. I have no idea. But you know what I'm not going to do as a parent? I am not going to try to control them through their adulthood. What I am going to do is instill the right principles and the right foundations and understand that they are going to have to learn things on their own the same way I did. But God help, they have a foundation to fall back on. And that is the bottom line for me. I cannot control if my child ever sees form of, I can't control that. Well, I can definitely control it. I'm not just giving open access to stuff. Even my son, who has a mobile, I'm not like, you can't search. You don't have Google. You don't have YouTube. You don't have stuff just sit. No. I got to make sure you're grounded enough before you can take on the world. I got to know that I've taught you how to make the right choices. When I know you've been taught how to make the right choices, more freedom. Why? Because I need you to be able to follow the Holy Spirit in you. That is the goal, not just mama's voice. Mama ain't gonna always be here. I need you to know God for yourself. And as I'm starting to preach, I'm getting warm on this thing, but that is the goal. Ain't it, parents, godparents, aunties, uncles? Ain't that the goal? That they know how to follow God, for they know how to hear his voice. They can tell the difference in things. There's one my daughter said the other day, Mom, you remember that time that I said I saw a spider in my room? I just realized that was actually just a dream. Now, mind you, this situation happened at least 3 or 4 months ago. I don't even know how she remembered this, but look at how thoughts come back. They'll see something, it'll trigger something, and then they'll have a revelation about it. I can't control when that happens. I can just do what I can do. There are going to be days that I don't do all the great mama moves. It's going to be days I'm tired and we ate out twice. Look, it's just going to be what it's going to be. But I'm going to do my very best to train them up in the way they should go. And I know that for our kids is a kind, strong, God-loving, and wise child. Don't let the kids stress you out. To the parents right now, you don't have to be overwhelmed. Don't walk around worried all the time. When you know you put the right stuff in, just put the right stuff in. Yeah, they're going to see crazy aunts. I had, drunk uncles and cousins sleeping around all over the place. I had people cussing folks out all the time. I had all kinds of influences around me because of the environment I was being raised in, even outside of my home, right? So even though I was exposed to a bunch of stuff, I never lost sight of my grounding. Even though I got rebellious, I never could shake God. God was always going to be there. You know it. So just know, if you are reminding them of who God is, and really try to every single day, outside of just rehearse prayers, okay? Make them real. Make them real. My last thing I'll say is there was a time where um like something happened. Like either I got a deal on something, or I found the exact same thing that I really wanted. And I said, "Did you see that?" And normally it's to my oldest. "Did you see that, Isaiah?" I said to him, "You see that? God cared that I had been looking for that all year. He cared." And I felt like I was supposed to come here today, and look, it was right there. Man, I just feel so blessed by that God cares about little things. That's how I find lessons. You know what I mean? Just showing him God cares about this stuff. He says he cares. That he even paying attention to what my heart desires. Yeah. That he cares about everything. And so as we close out, I just want you to be really encouraged by that, parents. I know you want your kids to grow up balanced and loved, but please don't sacrifice discipline because you want them to feel ooey gooey feelings about you. Okay. Our job is to train, and we can train in love. If God's telling us we're supposed to be loving everybody around us, that definitely means kids too. Kids should not be bullied around to get them to make the right decisions. They shouldn't be. How do I know? The Bible specifically has a scripture that he wrote to dads of don't be aggressive with your kids. I think it's in Ephesians 5. Don't be roughing them up. It's either that or First Peter. Don't be roughing them up. Don't be aggressive with your children. Like literally, it has been a thing as old as time for dads to be too rough. And the Bible says don't do that. You see, there's a respect that kids should be given. And I believe we should parent through that. At the same time, we're training. And when you're being trained, that means you're taught when you're right, when it's right and when it's wrong. So I just encourage you guys that are raising kids, whether they are having a good day or they have just gone left on you, you can come out of the time, you can come out of the situation, and don't worry. Don't get so worried that they're just going to fall apart. God's got them just like he had you. Just like he had you. God's got them. Okay. But I do encourage you as an action to find those words that you are like, these are the things that I am praying for. I am training them to be, and all those things in Jesus' name. Okay, guys, this wraps up our podcast on today. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this podcast. I haven't really dove into parenting, so I really hope that you enjoyed it. Definitely share it. Definitely share it with your parenting friends. Let them know that we're here. Hopefully they get some laughs from today's episode. This is episode 49 of the Don't Be Useless podcast. This season concludes at episode 54, which happens to be my birthday on September 28th. So I'm excited about that. And also, I am in the middle of building something, guys. I've been in a heavy just research and development period of building out of it that are going to be engaging and fun and for the everyday person, but primarily women, especially women who are trying to juggle multiple hats and also feel called to more. So I am just really, really thrilled about what's being built right now. I'm thinking about YouTubing it. What do you guys think about this? About me YouTubing my process as I start to build and grow and the things that I am just finding out. And because something that I feel like is missing from the marketplace right now of this business is I'm seeing a lot of go for your goals or goal healthcare. I don't see a lot of things that balances like the Jesus component of the real life stuff. Like you practical Jesus, low key, right? So there are actionable things. There are practical things that we should be doing. And I think sometimes we lose, how do we balance my walk with Christ, but the ghetto part of me, my walk with Christ, but I just have been the same cycle with men forever. My walk with Christ, but how do I choose, like literally, like how do I do that? And so I really am like, I guys, I wrote my pillars for the company this weekend. And, you know, I showed them to my best friend, my husband, my best friend and my husband, and just getting their feedback. And they are like so excited. They're like, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. So I am pumped. It's for you. It's for you. It is for you. I really want to have an opening event, a launch event. But we'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to have the funding or budget for that yet. So we will see. But it is, of course, global. It's not just a local thing. This is international. So I can't wait to bring these things to you guys. Oh, I see. So on Facebook, you guys said, love this episode. I'm going to re-listen. Oh, that's awesome. Cheney says, yes, definitely share. Yes, putting it on YouTube would be amazing. I'm thinking about doing a series, just kind of like a building the business series, just kind of sharing some of the things that I've learned. I think it would be helpful because I believe some of you guys out there are also called to build things. And so I think it's helpful, you know, how I'm doing this with God. I don't want to feel like I'm doing it without him, you know, get all into the, like, I think I'm getting bit by a mosquito low key, but okay. This is going to wrap up our episode. I love you guys dearly. Bye, YouTube. I will see you guys soon. Wrap up YouTube and then Facebook.